Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to use BehaviorDEPOT. It stands for Decoding Behavior Based on Positional Tracking. It's a flexible software that allows you to detect behaviors from video time series and can analyze the results of experimental assays. I'm going to be using example of a T-maze, but you can utilize this for open field, elevated plus maze, and many other behaviors. The software itself allows you to calculate kinematics and postural statistics from key points tracked via DeepLabCut or sleep and create heuristic classifiers that allow you to detect behaviors. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and download the GitHub repository. A couple of the prerequisites are that you need MATLAB for this, and you also need to install some requirements through MATLAB, which I will show you later. Now, to install the app itself, you need to go to BehaviorDEPOT GitHub repository. And I'm going to go ahead and download this entire repo as a zip file. So once you have unzipped your downloaded repository, you're going to see that there is an app installer inside of the repo. Here I have already installed my app, so I'm not going to redo that, but if you have not installed it, go ahead and follow the on-screen instructions. And then after that, you can follow along with this tutorial. Here I'm going to navigate over to the folder that I have set up with my DeepLabCut CSV output and the labeled video that is generated by a DeepLabCut. So let me bring up the folder itself, and I'll show you what I have in my folder. So here I have 4 different things. 2 of them are for later use, but this video is straight out of DeepLabCut, which looks like this, and many of you would be familiar with this. And the other thing is the CSV output, which is also fairly standard DLC output. Now again, you can utilize this with sleep outputs also, but I'm going to utilize DeepLabCut for this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the app from the apps menu in MATLAB. So this is what the GUI looks like. And before I go over this, let's go ahead and make sure that we have some of the requirements installed. So I'm going over to add-ons, and I'm going to look for quite a few things here. And the list I've popped up on the screen for you to see. There is signal processing toolbox, curve fitting toolbox, image processing toolbox, statistics and machine learning toolbox, and Simulink. These are the requirements that you need to install. And once you have those, you are good to go and run the BehaviorDEPOT. So to install anything that you need, you can go into add-ons and type in whatever you need. For example, here I'm trying to download Simulink, and it says that I already have it installed. But if I didn't have this installed, for example, it would show me an install button here on the right side. So go ahead and install all the things you need and then open up your BehaviorDEPOT. So under apps, you can find your BehaviorDEPOT under my apps. So on the left, there are multiple classifiers already built in. You can go ahead and just press run on that. Check that run button. The panels on the right are for more advanced use if you want to use your own classifiers. So for simple purposes, you can just press on the run and go ahead and check whatever outputs you want, and then press the start button. It will ask you to input the DeepLabCut CSV first. So here I am selecting that, and then the video that matches the CSV. Now you can make your own names for the ROIs. I'm using the built-in names. By the way, by double-clicking, you can connect all of your ROI lines, I should say. So now it's going to process within the ROIs that I've created, and this is a CPU intensive exercise. So make sure that you don't have other CPU bound operations happening on your computer while you do this. And this can, depending on how long your videos are, this can take a few seconds to a few minutes. All right, so then after it has done calculating, these windows will pop up. What it wants you to do here is it wants you to match the name that that are built into the function so that it can utilize those names for calculations. So for example, the nose in my DeepLabCut training represents a nose, and so on and so forth. So match the body parts with the body parts that you have in your project. So for me, most of the dictionary body parts that are shown are present in my training configuration. Now, for example, the tail tip isn't really necessarily displayed here, but for that I can adjust by calling that a tip instead of calling that a tail tip, for example. And now the best part about this software is that it will allow you to calculate distances between different body parts and rotation angles between different body parts, and it will store all of those things into the two folders that are generated there in the left. So here are the two folders that are generated, and each one of those has different parameters stored in those folders. So let's bring up this track, for example. Let's take a look at this. So here I have raw and smoothed data. Let's look at the raw data, and all these different body parts have their associated data stored in these tables. So go ahead and explore the folders that are presented to you. For example, you can find your behavior data here under the behavior tab. Once you load it in, it gets loaded into the workspace, and double clicking on that will bring up the structure. And within this, you can, let's look at the results. You have total time, percentage of time spent in each of those ROIs that you drew, distances, for example, distance traveled within that ROI, and the entries. Now you can change the names here. This is why initially I didn't care about the name that was built into the function. Here I can change the names for the ROI that I drew myself. All right, so I think you get the idea of what I'm saying here. So initially your names for the ROIs don't really matter so much. They're just being utilized for calculation and for different internal processes. So I would highly suggest that you leave those as they are and just draw the names or write the names in the final results folder yourself. Guys, I'm realizing I'm getting very close to the 10-minute mark, and I will stop this tutorial right here and follow this up with part 2 in the future.